Guys, good morning. Hope you're having an incredible morning. What a beautiful morning it is in Nashville, Tennessee. I hope you're experiencing the same wherever you're at. Hey, I always want you to do the unusual. And let me tell you what that is. And first of all, you've got to hear my heart on this, okay? I don't want you to think in any way that I'm boasting, but people come to me all the time saying, how did you grow Iron Sharpens Iron to be so successful? And how did you grow View from the Top? And I want to give you a tip this morning that I've talked about in the past, but I'm going to elaborate just a little bit more on it this morning. And I want you to listen loud and clear because this is an unusual mindset. It's going to take a transformation in the way a lot of you think in order to do what I'm talking about. I've got a good friend of mine, John Rulin, that wrote Giftology. And if you've not read that book, you need to read it. It is absolutely off the chart. It's an easy read. It's not very long, and it talks about the value of gifting. And I want to tell you on a real practical level how you can do that. I'm going to give you some examples. Now, I don't want you to think, Big A, you're down there at the Greenway this morning bragging about all the things you do. That's not my heart. My heart is to teach you maybe to think outside the box a little bit and do some things that's not ordinarily the way that you might think. And so let's start this morning by a few things that we do. Listen, you've got to have a giving heart, a giving mindset in order for that natural reciprocity to come back. And some small, tiny examples can be like our postman thinks that we're the greatest because we put money out there at various times to thank them for bringing our mail. And you're like, why would you do that? They're getting paid to bring you your mail. Listen, our postman, you wouldn't believe what our postman will do for us, but we don't do it for that reason. We do it because we're grateful. Christmas is like we got a handwritten card from our postman at Christmas. They'll do it. Our trash guy, I always put extra money out there if there's extra trash. You know, I told Robin the other day, I said, if we had a wrecked car and we put it by our garbage can, he'd figure out a way to put it in the truck. Listen, you'll go to a restaurant and you'll give some waitress $20 that brought your meal. It took them about 3 minutes, but you don't even think about your trash guy and the mail guy. I went down to Hardee's not long ago to get a biscuit. Don't tell Robin I went down there to get a biscuit. But there's a lady in there that's got this charisma that's unbelievable. I mean, this lady is like, hey, baby doll, how are y'all doing this morning? I'm going to give you a little extra fries, but don't you tell the manager about it. I mean, the line is out the door, and this lady is just taking care of everybody. She's smiling, she's laughing. And so I look across the street and Crystal is over there and the employees are playing cards like there's nobody. And I'm like, it's because of this level of customer service. So when I got up to get my biscuit, it was my turn. I asked to see the manager and her eyes lit up. It was like, what? I said, I want to see the manager. So the manager came over and I said, I want to tell you something. Look across the street. And the manager said, what are you talking about? I said, you see, there's nobody over there. And he said, no, there's not. I said, you know why everybody is in here? Because of that lady right there. That lady right there is great for your business and she needs a raise. Her eyes got that big around. I mean, she was so excited and he looked and he smiled and he said, no, you're exactly right. Listen, we'll complain when the biscuit is cold, but we rarely give compliments when things are good. I was on a podcast several years ago. It was an unusual podcast, really big audience, and I was so grateful as a result of that. I had this picture specially made for this podcast host. It cost me a lot. I'll be honest with you. It was about $700 for this gift. And I sent it to this guy and said, I want to thank you, man, for what you've done. Thank you for having me on your show. It's unbelievable. You know what he called me and told me? He said his mom saw it and his mom was hanging it in her house. It made an indelible impression on him. And, you know, after that, I was a guest a number of other times on his show. And this is a show that gets over 1 million downloads a month because I was grateful. I didn't do it for that reason. I did it because I was grateful. And as a result of that, I got something back. He wanted to do something nice to me, so he had me back on his show. Listen, John Rulin teaches this stuff in his book, and it's even a Bible prophecy. It talks about bringing gifts to people. But our mindset is we want to chinch out. We don't want to tip and give extra. Listen, we need to make special attention to do things for people, and it's a mindset shift. I just want to tell you, about a month ago, maybe it was 2 months ago, and one of the guys in our mastermind group called me and he said, I do this particular skill, and if you know of anybody that could use my services, I would appreciate it. And so I took about an hour and I sit down and went through my Rolodex and I said, this guy needs your services and this guy does and this guy does. And so I created an email and I sent it out to about a dozen people that said, you need this guy's service. This guy's unbelievable. And I want to encourage you to consider him. Well, he called me the other day and he said 70% approximately of his income is now coming from those introductions. Now, I don't say that again. Y'all got to hear me for those that signed on late. I'm not telling you this to boast. I'm telling you this is because this is the way our mindset has to go. Our mindset has to go, how can we help other people? How can we reach out and promote them? Yesterday, Scott Beebe and Jeff Goins and Tommy Breedlove have got some amazing books. And so I had some extra copies at the office. And so I put them up and I said, hey, if you'll promote somebody else, I'll give you this book for free. Just send me your address and your name. Well, you know what? This is so funny. I looked up and some of those people were promoting my book. And I'm like, that's not what my intentions were. My intentions was to promote you. Listen, guys, there's so many ways out there today to have fun. And I get so tired of hearing the people that are grumpy. And it's like every time I go to the restaurant, my food is cold. It's the smallest portion. The waitress is the slowest. You're looking for confirmation bias. And I just want to tell you, it goes the other way too. When you go into the restaurant and your macaroni and cheese was cold, it's like, man, but I had the best steak that I've ever had, and thank them for that steak. When you go in and you compliment the waiter or the waitress for the food and say, man, you guys have been busy and I appreciate you taking care of me. Listen, from then on, the rest of the meal, it's going to be like you're a king or something. They're going to bring you food because they get tired of hearing the complaints. They rarely hear the compliments. I just want to encourage you today as a business owner or even just an individual in person. I want you to sit down today and do a 30-day challenge with me. I want you to do it, and I'm not going to keep up with it. If you want to come back here and post what you did, but think, how can I bless other people? How can I tip, or how can I encourage, or how can I help? Spend some time today recording a little video. It says, hey man, you've been everything to me. We even done this recently for the lady that takes care of our dry cleaning. Like, she never gets a tip, and we gave her a tip. It's like, thank you. We come in here 3 times a week and get our dry cleaning, and I want to thank you for all you're doing for us. Listen, we get special care there. We didn't do it to get the special care, but we get the special care because we take care of people. Guys, listen, we have to change our mindset and quit being so selfish, looking inward, thinking about yourself. We've got to think about people that we can influence and help. What about your employees? I told a guy recently that I was coaching, he's got 12 people that answer to him. And I said, how much do you know about their personal goals and objectives? And this guy has 600 people working for him. He said, I don't know anything about their personal goals. I said, here's what I want you to do. Once a week, I want you to take one of those persons and I want you to go out to a restaurant, treat them to dinner. And I don't want you to talk about your business or your objectives or your goals or what you're trying to get done. I want you to get into their life. I want you to ask them, what are your goals? Tell me about your family. Tell me how I can help you. Well, after about 6 months in the coaching process, he said, Big A, I want to tell you something. That was one of the most remarkable tips that I've ever gotten in my career. He said, these people would run through the wall for me now. You know why? Because he cares about them. It's not all about himself. And when you start doing that, people pay attention. They want to be around you. They want to be in your involvement around you in your company, and they want to be involved in every way they can because they know you care about them. And that's the way you build a remarkable company. One of our VAs recently said something about they were quarantined, and I told Brooke, I said, hey, they love McDonald's, those kids do. I said, send them $25 and let them get 1,000 hamburgers or something over there. And she did, and they had a blast. And they're like, oh man, Big A, thank you. I got these personal emails and a video that said, thank you. This was incredible. It was fun. We got to do this stuff all the time. It's not just once a week. Your mindset has got to be everywhere you go. How can I give? How can I encourage? How can I promote? How can I do these things for other people? And you know what Zig Ziglar says about that? You help enough people get what they want, you're going to get everything you want. That's what we do in Iron Sharpens Iron. Every time I interview somebody that's going to be a new member in Iron Sharpens Iron, I say, we're givers, we're not takers. And if you're a taker, we don't want you. Go on to the next group. Because when you get in with a mindset, we have 150 givers. Can you only imagine what transpires as a result of having that many givers around you? It's like, I can't even answer all the emails. I can't even answer all the requests because you're giving and you're giving. It's the jab, 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 right hook mentality. You don't even have permission to ask for anything unless you're giving. It's the same way at your house. Quit doing things to get things. Listen, focus on your family and how you can serve them as a husband or as a wife. How can you serve your kids? And you watch how much different your life is as a result of this. I just want to challenge you for 1 month. Do me a favor. Do Big A a favor. Do it for 1 month. You just turn your mindset around and you watch the success you have. Hey, I'm Big A, coming to you live this morning from the Station Camp Greenway. Go out there today and give really in a big way like you've never done before. We'll see you.